This podcast is brought to you by Audible. Head over to audibletrial.com/jumbled and get your free 30-day trial and free audiobook. They've got over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, MP3 player. Telepathically, they've got it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Jumbled, your favorite podcast about nothing. I'm Zach.
And I'm Jonny.
Guys, I want to explain to you just what kind of maniac I'm dealing with tonight, okay? First of all, okay, you call me. I'm still upstairs on my phone. And I answer on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And then you commented on my wife snuggling on with my dog on the couch.
Well, first you said, "Do you want to say hi to your wife?" Who I don't know. Can we say her name? Do we? I don't think we say her name. We'll just say the wife. And yeah. I, of course, said, "Yeah," or "Yeah," duh, I want to. So Then you turned the phone, and I was having a nice, casual conversation with your wife.
Right.
And noticed that she was getting some good puppy snuggles in.
Yeah.
And then I said, that dog is living the dream. And then I don't remember. I just blacked out with ecstasy after that.
I think it was something along the lines of that I said that is the dream. And I think it's I don't know how it happened. You compared yourself to a bologna sandwich and I was a steak and something about I don't know.
Your storytelling skills have faded this little break that we took.
Hey, man, I don't recall exactly what happened, 20 seconds ago. So.
Something about, I said, that is the dream, and you were like, wait, that's your dream? And I was like, yeah, my dream is to be snuggling your wife. And then she laughed. She loved it. And then you said, I don't want to get into any weird wife swap things. And then kind of led, and then I gave the old analogy of, you can have a steak dinner every day for a week, a month, a year, maybe 10 years, but at some point, you're just going to really crave a bologna sandwich. And in that analogy, you were obviously the steak, and I'm the bologna sandwich.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you comparing me to a steak, but obviously,
I'd eat you.
Huh?
I said, I'd eat you real good.
Anyway, Jonny, it's been, you know what? Last week, admittedly, was just a miscommunication on my part.
Yep. I took some weird extended vacation things, and, it happens.
Yeah, so I hadn't really planned on what I was going to say. I was planning on recording. And then, just had to release another rewind. Sorry about the 3 rewinds in a row, but the holiday season is busy for everybody, and every now and again you need a good old break just to get away.
That's true, and we do this for free, so
it's true.
If you want more episodes, leave us reviews on iTunes. We want more episodes.
This is purely sweat equity. This is not we're not turning a profit on this.
Y'all should feel bad for Zach. He has a 12-car garage, but only has 6 cars. So,
God, I wish that was true, dude. I've got one 1997 Malibu that is piece by piece falling apart.
I'm surprised you didn't know that line. Throwing it out to my boy Post Malone. Posty.
Joe's more of a Post Malone guy.
I'm disappointed in you. I'm just going to hang up right now.
Okay, well, hey, it's good talking to you, Jonny. And no, I know, I don't know. I know, one song.
Man.
I haven't listened to many of it.
In all fairness, I will grant you some leniency because I had heard his name, but I've never heard his music, didn't know what he looked like. And Allie and I were at a friend's house for dinner, and they were talking about music, and they were putting music on YouTube, and then Justin was pretty stoked on Post Malone. and he asked if he could put it on, and I'm pretty open to my music selections. Traditionally, I would say I liked everything but country, but there's a few country songs that kind of hold my attention. And he threw on Post Malone, and then we watched like a documentary on him, and I fell in love with that kid. He's just such a character and does his own thing, and I respect that. And he writes pretty good music, and he's an actual musician. That was the big thing for me, that he can actually play instruments. I respect that. I think there's so many people who are singers or rappers who, started if you wanted to be a musician, you kind of had to do it all. And then it was, I'm just going to be a singer. And then it's, I'm just going to sing and I'm not even going to write my lyrics. Beyonce. And then, it just like slowly went away to, I'm just going to sit and mumble in front of this mic the same 50 words.
Yeah, it's really strange within, a generation or two. You've got somebody like Freddie Mercury who
exactly.
and then it's completely devolved into what you're seeing from I don't even know any of the the SoundCloud rapper, mumble rapper names. I don't know any of them.
No, I make that like a point of pride for me, that I refuse to look them up. I refuse to listen willingly.
Yeah, but Post Malone, let's talk about how his name sounds like a cereal that would have been made by Post about Karl Malone.
Ooh, what an interesting concept. That should be his album art. If I could draw, I would draw that for him and send it to him, because we're clearly homeboys now. But
yeah, just like a cereal box with well, what did they call him? The mailman, right?
Yep. Oh yeah. Ooh yeah. I like it.
That, you know what? That's what he should name his next album, and we'll take some royalties off that. Post.
A couple bucks, Yeah.
I heard he got his name from like just a random name generator.
I heard that too, actually, and that makes me so happy if that's true.
Yeah, and I think I don't know that he confirmed it, but I know I saw like a clip of him on like Fallon or something like that,
joking about it.
One thing I have seen about him is Jimmy. It was like a clip from on YouTube. It was like Jimmy Fallon had never been to an Olive Garden or something like that, and Post Malone like took him to an Olive Garden, and they were just like sitting and eating the breadsticks, and as you do,
two millionaires just binging on all you can eat bread and salad.
Dude, Olive Garden is
living the dream. You know what the next step is of living the dream? You go to Olive Garden, you binge on breadsticks, and then you go to your house and snuggle your wife. Living the dream.
It's true, man. It's true. There's actually an Olive Garden just down the road. Maybe that needs to happen.
Oh,
soon.
I know. I mean, what?
Now I'm concerned. I'm going to come home one day. My entire life's going to be upended.
Upended over some snuggling? Come on, Zach. I've snuggled you. You don't see your wife getting mad?
It's true. It's true. You've snuggled me pretty hard.
I'm a snuggly guy, though. I just love getting right in there.
You are a snuggly guy. It was a different kind of snuggle when you were a larger Johnny.
That's true. There's a lot more controlled snuggles. Now we're kind of in, I like to call them struggle snuggles.
Okay, tell me about the struggle snuggles, dude.
Well, it's just very kind of aggressive snuggling.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, dude. Yeah, I don't know that you'd want to use the phrase struggle snuggle. hey, honey, you want to come over to the couch and we'll put on a movie, and we can do some struggle snuggles. What do you say? Struggle snuggles.
You know how I knew I was getting old? Was I was at the gym, and it was Friday, and Al wanted to go out somewhere, and I'm pretty focused on my training schedule.
Sure.
And I needed to get some more gym time in. And she said, John, let's think about this for a minute. You're choosing to go to the gym and roll around on some mats with a bunch of sweaty dudes on a Friday night instead of taking your wife out on a date. And
where you could be rolling around sweaty elsewhere.
Yeah. And my response was, yeah. That's my Friday nights, baby.
I wish you guys could have seen his face. That was such a matter-of-fact answer. That was like, of course. I was like, yeah.
Duh. I can snuggle you anytime, Al.
Yeah.
Training's only from 6 to 8.
Yeah, you're gonna be struggling to get some snuggles if you keep that up, dude.
That's true.
That's a different kind of snuggle.
So I've set some weird precedents in our household, and I'm a little bit concerned, although maybe appreciative of it as well.
Okay.
So Al and I were on vacation, and she got sick on our way home, like a kind of a cold flu thing. Mm-hmm. And she was really struggling to sleep, and we had to go back to work after having 2 weeks off, and she was pretty miserable. And she went to bed on Sunday night really early at like 8:30 or 9 or something, which is early for me. Truthfully, she kind of goes to sleep around 9:30, 10, but so I stayed up, and I don't know, a week before we had conversations because of our sleep schedules are so backwards. Like, I go to bed at midnight and I wake up at 5:30, and she goes to bed at anywhere between 8 and 10 and wakes up between 6 and 8 depending on her work schedule.
Right.
And we're talking about how I try and sneak in, but if the dogs are up or whatever, sometimes I wake her, and then it's, I'm a restless sleeper, so then she's kind of half awake, and then I'm tossing and turning. And so I kind of said, well, I could just sleep in the spare bedroom, and she kind of thought about it and was like, yeah, maybe that's a good idea. Occasionally we'll give it a try, whatever. And we kind of didn't mention or say anything about it for a couple weeks or so. I can't remember. It was a while. And then on Sunday, she went to bed really early, and she was really sick. And I want to say it was for her benefit. It was secretly for mine. But I went to bed in the spare bedroom, and we both had a really nice sleep. I didn't wake her up, and she didn't wake me up with her sneezing and coughing and being sick things. And we both woke up the next morning happy and refreshed, and now I feel like we're going to start sleeping in separate beds.
Forever.
No.
Sometimes I feel like there's something to that, though. Like, my wife she's like a hot box.
Oh.
Like, she just like exudes. Like, if the temperature in our house is 75, under the covers it's like fucking 85. Like, she kicks it up. She's like, but it gets to the point where it's almost like uncomfortable for me. So I gotta kick a blanket off, or like make sure the fan's on, and sometimes she doesn't want the fan on, and I get it. There's definite benefits to sleeping in separate rooms.
You see those old shows, and like old husband and wives are sleeping in separate double beds in the same room.
I know a couple.
I get it now. After 5 years of sharing a bed with someone, right. I get it. And we have a king size. It's not like we have a tiny bed.
I know somebody or a couple that's gone full on, like 2 different beds, 2 different rooms, just like.
Yeah, do they have a third partner with them in their household? Because I know that's really common.
No.
You have like a communal bedroom where you go for the big fuck fest, and then you each have your own bedroom for sleepy times.
Of course.
I heard it on a podcast anyways.
The fuck fest room. Everybody knows about that.
Duh.
You've got one, right? And it's just got.
I'm in it right now. What do you think we're about to do, Zach?
Yeah. That's why you're dressed up in that your full leather S&M outfit. You got a ball gag hanging around your neck.
Yep. The
Allie's in the background, just with like just a whip.
The safe word is really easy. It's
don't stop.
It's the entire alphabet backwards. Everyone knows that.
the entire alphabet backwards. Jesus Christ.
That's your safe word.
But you can't stutter either.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Constant. So I don't drink, despite that cracking noise that you guys heard earlier. I'm drinking Prohibition because it was the only non-alcoholic thing we had in our basement fridge.
I noticed that you'd cracked that open, but I didn't want to say anything.
Non-alcohol.
So glad to hear.
And I really should be drinking water because I just got home from the gym, and I did drink a liter, and I just needed something with a little bit of flavor, and I kept you waiting, and I didn't want to make some Crystal Light, so I know you wouldn't have cared, but I felt bad, and I thought I had some Diet Cokes in the basement, and all I have are basically 300 beers from the time that I stopped drinking, and a couple Prohibitions, which are not that good, but...
Yeah. Well, they're probably better than the aspartame, right?
I don't know, man. There's no studies on aspartame. That doesn't scare me.
Are there no studies on it?
There's no proof right now that it causes any long-term serious health concerns.
I think if you just drink water, then you're safe.
Man, I drink anywhere between 3 and 4 liters of water a day. Okay, sometimes you have bologna sandwiches all day and you just really want a steak.
It's true. It's true. So I know I had mentioned we did our rewinds last week. We did a rewind of episode 60 with our good buddy Larry Hill.
Yeah,
hope you guys like that one. Larry has expressed interest in getting back on the podcast, so we need to iron out some details with him, but the plan, at least right now, is to get him on next week. We're looking forward to catching back up with him. It's been a bit.
It has been a minute, and I'm excited to hear from him again, hear about his competition and his training now, and I swear he just keeps getting bigger and better looking. I didn't think it was possible when I first met him, but
yeah, he posted a picture on Instagram the other day about like off season or something like that, and he looks. It's like, what off season?
I thought about messaging him because we've kind of chatted a couple times since the first podcast that he was on.
Sure.
And I thought about messaging him, being like, off season. I'm on my off season. I put 20 pounds on over my vacation. That's off season, Larry. You have a 12 pack, bud. Come on.
I literally said off season. That was it. And I hope my pop filter and windscreen caught that.
Sounded good on my end.
That major P.
Al took a lot of pleasure in just slowly watching my body slowly degrade over the 2 weeks of me just stuffing my fat fucking face with anything that was around. And I started off so good too. I ate a lot more than I normally do, but I was working out at least once a day. Like I was lifting, and then I'd go do a swim, like a pool workout, and then I did go to jiu-jitsu a couple times when I was off, but it struggled to find a good place to train. Really bad luck, which was pretty frustrating for me because I need that in my life. And then the second week, I basically just said, fuck it. And
screw it, yeah.
You know Terry's chocolate oranges?
No.
You've never heard of a Terry's chocolate orange?
I hear that Terry is a pretty nice dude, and I like chocolate and I like oranges. But alas, I have never heard of a Terry's chocolate orange.
Is that just a Canadian thing?
It sort of sounds like it's probably the same as that tiger stripe
Tiger tail ice cream.
Tiger tail ice cream.
So a Terry's chocolate orange is about the size of my fist, or it's a little bit smaller than the snowball mic. I'd say it's 2/3 of the snowball mic. And it's shaped like an orange. Okay. Obviously, it's it's a cylinder, or not a cylinder, a sphere. Okay. I know my shapes.
Well, man, they're round in a different way.
Cut me some slack. I got punched in the face quite a bit today. So anyways, it actually is sliced like an orange pieces, but there's this chocolate core. So their shtick is you have to whack it for the pieces to kind of flour so you can eat it. Otherwise, you just have a giant chunk of chocolate. So you take it and you smack it on a table, and then you undo the tin foil, and it just blossoms beautifully, like this beautiful chocolate orange.
It's like a lotus.
There's roughly 23. I think I did the math, and it was 2,300 calories per chocolate orange or something.
Nice.
Maybe it was 1,500 or 1,300. I don't know. It was a lot. I went on a 5-day streak where I ate one of those for breakfast.
Every day?
Every day, 5 days straight. Like, fuck it, I'm eating this orange. And then so two Christmases ago, because Al and I alternate whose families we do Christmas with.
Right.
And 2 Christmases ago, we were with her family again, out east, and her mom makes these incredible macaroons. And she made a bunch. And it was the first time she's ever made them for me, and me being the fat fuck that I am, I was just devouring these things. And poor Allie's mom was losing her mind because she made all these, and there's like a bunch of family events, and I just kept I could not stop eating them. But in my defense, she kept putting them out. So she would be like, oh, there's people coming over in 3 hours, so I'll start preparing. So she'd put out this nice platter of sweets and food and stuff, and then I, being the fat fuck I am, couldn't decipher between what's the food that needs to be left alone until company gets here versus all of the other food that's out that I'm supposed to eat. And I ate all the macaroons, and I drove Allie's mom absolutely insane. She's like, you keep eating all the goddamn macaroons. It's like, well, don't put them out, Joelle. I have no self-control. They're too good.
That's the funniest argument I've ever heard in my life. I wish I would have been there.
So this year...
Stop putting them out, Joelle.
Yeah, basically. I was like, I can't stop. You don't understand. So this year, I guess she texted Al and said that she made like 3 dozen macaroons and was really excited or something, and was like, is John going to be happy with that? And Al said, Mom, John's going to eat a dozen of those macaroons the second he walks in your house. If you want those to last a week, you better make more.
Right.
So I don't even know how many she made, but they were just macaroons for days, and they were all over the place. And I was just walking by, ooh, a macaroon. Ooh, a macaroon. Ooh, a macaroon.
Is the what was that, Family Guy? Ooh, piece of candy.
Yeah, it was exactly
ooh, piece of candy.
Just wandering around their giant place, just food everywhere, just constant food everywhere. And then all the cooking, it was so good.
Mm-hmm. That's what the holidays are all about, man.
Yep. So I put on 20 pounds,
very nice.
Which is detrimental because I'm in a tournament on February 9th, and I have to make weight, and I kind of budgeted that I was gonna gain a little bit of weight, but I doubled my budget, so now you're on
the military diet now.
Yeah, now I'm back on. I gotta cut a shit ton of weight.
I hear what you do is you have an egg in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
You have a spoonful of honey, and then you just do liquids until dinner.
I mean, that's a way to do it for sure.
Maybe some tuna or something in the middle of the day, just something to get you by.
Yeah, because I'm training twice a day right now, I need to eat actually a bit more.
Okay.
But I have fairly good. So I wake up and I do my workout fasted. So I do fasted cardio, and then I do some yoga and some kettlebell exercises. And then I'm sure we'll talk about this with Larry, so this might be repetitive. Sorry, guys. And then I eat a couple bananas, or an orange and a banana. If I have time, I'll make eggs. And then I'm kind of eating a balanced balanced meal, I was going no carb for a while. But because I'm training so much, I've noticed that I need the carbs. So I kind of do, I don't know, I would say 50% vegetables and then 30% protein and 20% carb kind of thing. Like trying to be low-ish carb, but my body responds really crazily to them. So try not to go too deep, and then
See, I just do the opposite of that.
Yeah, like most people, just fucking Americans shoving French fries in their face holes.
Hey! I feel attacked. I need a safe space.
Do you need? Yeah,
I thought this was my safe space.
Speaking of safe spaces, I heard Donald Trump is trying to, he's really making some moves to make all of America one big safe space. Which I know we don't want to talk about Trump, and I don't want to go too deep into it. I just love the irony of him being like, all these snowflakes and liberals need safe spaces. I need to build a big wall because I need a country-sized safe place.
Right, exactly. It's like, I don't know. He's just...
But on the flip side, because I like to be neutral, all of the celebrities that are actively protesting Trump and the wall also live in gated communities and giant houses with 100%. Giant walls protecting them. So it's kind of...
100%.
So I don't believe in the wall. I think there's a way better way to spend all that money that could accomplish what he's trying to accomplish. But
it's like $15 billion or something like that.
What do you expect from a real estate guy? He loves bricks and mortar. That's his thing. If it's not physically in front of him, it's not real. That's just where his mind is,
I just love that we're in a government shutdown, specifically because
Mexico won't pay for the wall. But I'm the best businessman, the best.
I'm not blaming Mexico at all for it. I just think it's
Mexico will pay for the wall.
It's like if a kid gets a toy taken away from him.
Oh, 100%. I love that all of the tweets are coming back and the captions of him in 2013 just shit talking Obama for shutting down and saying like, oh, that shows poor leadership and this is weak and this and that, and then it's his turn and you won't give me my wall. You don't get paid. That's essentially what it is. I will not pay you over the Christmas, like at Christmas, the most difficult time.
Right.
Because
for the foreseeable future as well.
Yeah, because you won't fix my mistake.
All right, guys, let's stop to take a second to talk about our sponsor for today's podcast, Audible. You guys know about Audible. We talk about them all the time. We love them. Head over to audibletrial.com/jumbled. The book that I'm going to be recommending for the month of January, kicking it off right here in 2019, is I Must Say, My Life as a Humble Comedy Legend by Martin Short, narrated by the man himself. It's a memoir. It's talking about his early days in Second City, also in Saturday Night Live, and his famous movies that he's been in throughout his life and his career. But he also gets into his private life, where he talks about how he lost his eldest brother and both of his parents by the time he turned 20 years old, and how he most recently lost his wife of 30 years to cancer. So it's a bit of a roller coaster, but it really lets you inside of the mind of the man who you all know and love, Martin Short. It's a great listen, so I'd really recommend that one. But if there's something else you guys want to listen to, of course, they have over 180,000 different titles that you can listen to. So feel free to listen to whatever else you like. I personally really recommend Martin Short. He's a comedy legend. He's a titan in that regard, and I think it would be it's 8 hours and 40 minutes of your time that would be well spent. So give that a shot and let us know what you think. Thanks, Audible. And let's get back to the podcast, because there's going to be a little bit more that we need to listen to. Yeah, an unnecessary mistake at that. Anyway, I want to move on from
that. All right, let's
Johnny,
move on.
What did you do for New Year's? Anything fun?
I had a really fun but chill New Year's, which I am really happy about, actually. So we were in Tirana.
Okay.
Which
was the big city.
Yep. The big city. But we did it pretty chill. So Ali's best friend lives in Toronto proper, so we were staying in their house, which was awesome because they had really good transportation access. And then we went out to a restaurant, a Mexican restaurant, which if I remembered their name, it was something Cantina, I would call them out for being, I don't know, fucking dill holes. So Sam tried to make a reservation and online, and you could only make the reservation for 6, and there were 7 of us. So for whatever reason, you couldn't make a table for bigger. So she called and got a voicemail, and she sent 2 emails, and they never responded. And we were like, "Oh, okay. Well, we'll just show up, and it's not hard to just put a chair on the end of a 6-person table, right? We'll just squeeze, we'll make it work, no big deal." So I think it was half an hour before our reservation, or maybe 45 minutes. Like we were getting ready to Uber over there. She gets an email saying, "Sorry, we can't accommodate your group. We can only do reservations for 6." So then we had this thing of, well, what do we do? And I was like, honestly, we're fucking going. And if they won't seat us, then I jokingly said, "Oh, Ben and I will just share a chair and we'll make a fucking scene." And people were like, "All right." So we show up, and this place probably seats 100 people at best. Like, it's not a big place. It's probably less than that, truthfully. I'm not really good at determining that. There were maybe 5 to 10-ish people in there, basically empty. Like, empty. And so we walk up to the hostess, and we're like, "Oh yeah, we have a reservation under Sam. It's for 6, but we have 7. They're like, "Oh, well, we emailed you. We can't accommodate your reservation." And I was like, "You're fucking empty." And this hostess literally wouldn't let us in. She was like, "No, we can't accommodate. We can only do tables of 6." And we're like, "Well, just put 1 chair at the end of the table and we'll sit there." Or the real kicker was the entire bar, like the bar seating was completely open, and then on the opposite wall of the bar they had kind of bench seating that you face the wall, which isn't great, but completely open, like at least 20 chairs. It's like you could literally just be like, "Hey, we can't get you a table, but we can sit you side by side on this wall," and we would have been, "Sure, no problem." So we're whatever, like putting our jackets back on, figuring out what we're going to do, and the manager comes. He's like, "What's going on?" And Sam's like, "Well, you apparently don't have room for us in your empty restaurant." And the manager's like, "Wait, what?" We're like, "Yeah, we made a reservation for 6. We tried to make it for 7. We sent an email. You didn't respond. Apparently you guys can't move a chair." And he's like, no, we'll get you in. So they got us in. So everyone was kind of rattled at first, and was like, annoyed. And the server, you could tell, was not pleased about our seating situation. And she was okay, but the food was really good. I have to admit, the food was spectacular, and that saved it. That
makes it worth it.
I ate a shit ton of tacos, and then we went back to Sam and Jake's house, and then we played N64. We listened to some music, played some board games, and just there was 6 of us. Ben, who was the 7th, he went off to meet some families because he's kind of a salute. But just kidding, I love you, Ben. But yeah, so it was pretty chill, and I loved it. We just hung out, talked. Mike was there. So, it was great. It was low key, and we ended up staying up till like 3 playing Catan, which I hate Catan. I fucking hate that game.
I don't think that I've ever played that game to completion.
No, yeah, it's only supposed to last an hour, but I ended up me and Mike actually we made mini side quests, and we just fucked with the economy, so people couldn't finish things that they needed to win. And poor Al was sitting with 9 points for probably an hour and a half, and she tried 4 different ways to win, and just haphazardly of Mike and I just randomly doing bullshit kept stopping her from getting that last point. Like, I made it a mission where I wanted all of the sheep, so I was calling the sheep goats for a while, and then I was calling them hooers, and then Mike and I ended up making up this like street version of the game, where the sheep were hooers.
Okay.
And then what was it? The sheep were hooers, the wheat was weed, ore was crack rocks, and then what did we say? I can't remember what we said lumber was. And then, you know how you can get like soldiers in the game? We were calling those gangsters. And we just, and then I was like, Mike, we might be onto something here. We should make a rated R version of Catan that was
100%
street focused, you know? Like if the
like
board was up.
It's the Settlers of Oakland or something like that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh man.
What about you? What did you do?
That sounds like I every year I do pretty much the same thing. Although that's going to be changing this year. I just relax, veg out of the house, and then inevitably sleep through the new year, and then wake up shortly after the new year, and also turn to my wife, who also fell asleep while we're on the couch, and say, "Oh, we missed the new year. Happy New Year." New Year's smooch, and then
go back to bed. Yeah,
go back to bed. It's the same thing every year. Although this year we've made some resolutions for they have Union Station here in Kansas City, which is like an old, train station. Mm-hmm. But they throw a big, it's like a New Year's Eve swing. I forget what they call it. Swing in New Year's Eve in Union Station. So me and the wife are actually going to be learning some swing dancing. We're going to learn some swing dancing this year, and then cut up a rug this coming New Year's.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Al's been trying to get me to do some dancing lessons leading up to the wedding, so like a year behind. No big deal.
Sure. Well, it's good. It's good exercise. Gives you a reason to get all handsy.
I would say in the past year and a half, I have flourished with my dancing abilities and interest in dancing. And I hated dancing. Hated dancing. I'd have to be really drunk to dance.
Yeah.
And then I had some friends who were Latino, and they convinced me and Al to go to a Latin club with them.
And that's happened a couple times.
Now it's like my favorite place. Now I'm a fucking dancing queen. Like, Al, let's go dancing. She's like, what? Who the fuck are you? I was like, I just love dancing now.
That's awesome. That's how it should be, man.
Yeah, but I just started and paid attention, and then I just kind of did what I started doing was literally, and it's so cheesy, but it worked, and people were like, "Hey, you're like moving." I just went over boxing drills and jiu-jitsu drills as my dance moves. So I was like, dancing, but I was really just like, I'm swimming and like jabbing and then my cross, and I was just like until I found my flow, and hey, it worked for me.
Fake it till you make it, dude.
Exactly. So
fake it till you make it.
Because
That's awesome.
For a while, I would bug me because I could move my feet, but I wouldn't move my upper body. And then she'd be like, you need to like move your hands and like your shoulders and like loosen up. So then I would plant my feet, and my upper body would be like willow arms, like.
Yeah, you turn into one of those things you see out in front.
Exactly.
In front of
I had
any random store when they got a sale going on.
Yeah, no concept. And then I eventually figured out how to piece it together, and that's what I had to do. I had to focus on what do I know that's body movement, and that's fighting. Can I do this in kind of a playful to the music way, and it worked. And people love it because I don't drink. So at my buddy's wedding, our other friend's wife, I was like dancing up a storm, and she just loved that I was completely sober and I was just wiggling my booty like no cares in the world.
Feeling it, dude.
Yeah. So, you know,
that's awesome.
Can teach an old dog new tricks, you know?
Yeah, so that's one of our resolutions for this year is, you know.
I like that, man. That's a good resolution. That's like gonna spend more time with my wife. I'm gonna learn something new, and then we're gonna celebrate our resolution on the day to make the next resolution. Exactly.
Along with several other things we plan on doing this year. Try to do some more, adventuring. And
adventuring! Like
that.
Get a passport.
So, yeah, well, that needs to be.
I am gonna message Steph immediately and say,
okay,
adventuring equals passports. Passports equals Canada.
Yep.
Canada equals Snuggles.
Struggle.
Wait, maybe I'll leave that last part out just to be safe.
Well, you can throw it in. I think she's she'll be okay with it. She'll be okay with it. You can say, Zach, I'll get the reference. It's not creepy or anything. Yeah, no, definitely. That would be awesome. So that's there are a lot of different things that, you know, with each new year, and I've never been one to really resolve to do things.
Yeah, you know, I don't really care for them either, honestly. Just try and be a better person. Don't want I'm gonna start next week or on the 1st or on the 7th, and I'm just I'm a rip the Band-Aid off kind of guy.
Right, just do it. You know? Yeah, exactly. But I think the one thing they do is they are a constant reminder of what you're trying to accomplish. You know what I'm saying? Where sure, like, you know, if you're addicted to sugar or whatever, like me, you know, and you're wanting to eat healthier, you know, print out your resolutions, put them in a place where you're always going to see them or something like that, and then, you know, instead of eating that donut, pick something else up.
Or only eat half the donut. Honestly, I think Larry and I talked about this on his episode. I can't remember, or we'll probably touch on it next week. But a lot of people ask me how I have the ability to manipulate my body so drastically between gaining weight or muscle or dropping weight and muscle and whatever. And then they try and say, oh, well, like, what's your diet? Let me do that. And then I say, okay, well, here's what I do. And then it lasts 3 days. And you're like, oh, I can't do that. Yeah. And it's like, well, yeah, because think of where you're going from now to like complete shock on your body and your routine and your mind and your willpower. And, you know, when I first started losing weight again, it was like the first thing I did in university was I'm going to stop drinking Coke. For 2 weeks, I want to go to the gym like 3 times a week, and I'm just going to stop drinking soda. And I lost like 5 pounds in a week because I just stopped drinking soda. I was like, oh, okay, that's good. I'm going to stop drinking juice. And then I lost some more weight. I was like, oh, I'm comfortable doing, 2, maybe 3 times a week at the gym. Maybe I can do 4. And just like slowly built up this system where, you get used to it and take baby steps. And that's kind of been my mantra for a little while now, is that baby steps are still steps, because as you know, I'm a pretty drastic guy and I like to dive in head first in everything that I do. But sometimes, you just can't do that, and you have to take those baby steps, and moderation is key, honestly. And that was partially why I didn't get too stressed over Christmas. And then I kind of wanted to make it a game to be like, well, how much weight can I actually gain and how quickly can I lose it? So going to right before we left for vacation, I was 204.5 pounds or something, and came back and I was 222 and a half or 223 or something, like just shy of 20 pounds.
Yeah.
And I we got in really early Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And my first thought was, well, we're tired. We flew early. Fuck it. Let's get McDonald's. You've already blown your diet. You can start tomorrow. And I was like, oh, or you could just start Monday and have like one more blowout. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I'm home. It's starting now. And, you know, Al ordered food and I didn't order anything. And I just went grocery shopping and made some food and ate healthy. And I lost 8 pounds of that in like 3 days.
Right.
And it's just partly it's my body, it's my genetics, it's also my system. And people are, you know, I have a couple of friends who were shocked that I gained 20 pounds. And then I was like, yeah, I'll probably lose it all in a couple weeks. And they're like, what? How do you lose 20 pounds in a couple of weeks? It's like, well, you don't do what I do. You don't eat what I eat. You don't eat when I eat or how I eat. And you're not working out 3 hours a day like I am.
Right.
And that makes a huge difference, right? And so that's my concern, is that there's a lot of people that ask for, you know, everyone's looking for that magic quick thing. And sometimes it's actually the first 6 months might be really slow until you get used to that new lifestyle. And that's what I preach, is that it's a lifestyle. It's not easy, you know?
Yeah.
And
no.
There's times that alarm goes off at 5:30 and I know I have to go work out. I'm like, I could just snuggle. And that's always Allie's snuggliest time. So then she kind of like grabs me and I was like, oh, I'm so warm and comfy and it's so fucking dark out. But,
yeah,
you know, at the end of the day, I say, what are my goals? Do I want to make weight?
Sure.
And I was like, yeah, I want to make weight because I don't want to, you know, let myself down, let my team down, or let my coaches down. Like, it's just,
sure,
you just got to do it. And a lot of people don't have that. But I didn't start that way.
Right.
You know?
I think having a healthy sense of, like, you know, you owing it to yourself, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be able to look at yourself in the mirror if you did something that you know you shouldn't have done in the first place? You know, whether that's just like, you know, eating a burger or maybe skipping out on doing that extra set at the gym or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
mm-hmm.
it's there are definitely, you know, I don't know, levels to this stuff, I guess, but I haven't done much on that front yet this year.
Yeah,
but
it's a mental thing. It's 100% mental and routine and phasing into it, and that's the same thing with diet. It's so, people don't understand how challenging it is in today's society to eat healthy. Because think about advertisements. You're just flooded with, buy this McDonald's burger, buy this burger, look at this steak, look at these ribs, look at this candy.
Right.
Chocolate bars everywhere, right? It's just we live in a world of abundance, and it's so hard to fight that. And then when you face the actual addiction to sugar and stuff, it's not an easy feat. And people get discouraged when they, like, oh, I had this chocolate bar, oh fuck, now it's over, so I'll just go back. It's like, no, you need to accept that, okay, I took a small step backwards here. I ate this chocolate bar. Everyone does it. I do it. Larry does it. It's being able to take that and say, okay, I had a weak moment in this hour. I have the next 6 hours to make up for it. So what am I going to do? Well, maybe I'll do that extra 30 minutes on the treadmill to negate that chocolate bar. Maybe I do an extra, 15 minutes and I negate half that chocolate bar.
Yeah.
It's still
or maybe
something.
Maybe you just go full steam ahead and eat an entire Terry's chocolate orange.
Well, sometimes that happens, Zach. Sometimes you eat 2 of those a day, plus everything else. Okay?
Dude, that sounds like my dream. Like that.
Oh,
like
it felt so good, dude.
Just a giant glass of milk.
I mean, I had some remorse when I got home and reality sunk in, and this week at the gym, I have just been fucking gassed. And that's a perfect example of the mentality of, like, can you do that extra rep at the gym? And so we were sparring today, and because I have that tournament coming up, I'm doing some pretty heavy rounds, and some of the, more advanced guys are like really putting pressure on me now to compete. And I had to do 7 3-minute rounds today, and with no rest in between. And I was exhausted after the third one or the fourth one. It's like, oh, I could just slip to the side of the mat and drink my water, and people would kind of be like, oh, well, whatever, it's not a big deal. I was like, or I have all these people who are supporting me and are trying to push me, and I can respond positively to that, and I can push through, and and then I just went into survival mode. And that's really what like a Shark Tank like that is about, is just going into survival mode and learning how to conserve energy and to push through when you're tired and find your next level of tiredness. So
exactly. All right, well,
and that was fitness in preparation for our fitness podcast with Larry.
yeah, exactly, and that's something that that was also another one of the resolutions that I really want to get back into. Actually, over Christmas break, my dad has the whole P90X.
Oh, you're getting back in the P90.
So I grabbed, or I was able to rip all of those DVDs. So I have all the files, and I plan on jumping on that here pretty soon. But the plan is to get that, not get that going here pretty quick, so that by the time spring rolls around, I'm ready.
Let's make a bet here. Let's do a bet.
Okay.
So you should go weigh yourself.
Okay.
And if you can, preferably if you go to a gym or find someone who in their house, a lot of scales have body fat percentage readers.
Okay.
You should get that. And
okay.
For every pound of fat that you lose, I will give you $2 American.
Okay.
Towards your passport.
$2 American towards my passport. I think. Well, I already bought a scale. Last time I measured myself, I was hanging around 217, 218, something like that. So, I think, and realistically, I think I could probably, if I'm just going straight cardio, I could probably drop 20 and be just under 200. No problem. But it's just getting going with that, And I definitely don't have the body fat
that's fine
measure or anything like that.
If you're doing cardio, then it won't. The reason why I said the body fat was because if you will put on muscle, and then your weight, you might stop dropping weight on the scale, but you're losing fat. But if you're going to be more cardio focused, then we can just make it really simple, and we'll say $2 a pound.
Yeah, well, and I know there's gonna be probably some muscle gain anyway, so I think we can just stick with that $2 a pound, and then we can just sort of we can do a check-in. I don't know, every month or something like that. Maybe do three check-ins, and
sure,
and then see where I come out in the end. But yeah, so that's a good way to keep me accountable as well.
Well, I'm going to keep you accountable now.
Since I gotta
guess who's getting early morning text messages from me.
Johnny's gonna be like, "Wake your fat ass up."
Although you're an hour ahead, so you have a bit of an advantage there.
Yeah, I mean, my alarm goes off at 5:30, but I think it's just
that's early.
Yeah. Well, but that's the first one. Usually, I'd snooze that one and get up at 6, but
so that's another thing you should start doing if you want to train yourself to get up early. I just slowly started changing my alarm. One is getting out of the habit of snoozing, which is really hard to do. But I have my snooze set to like 5 minutes instead of 30 or whatever. So if I do snooze, it's 5 minutes, and then I feel like it's not even worth it. But I would just start waking up 1 minute earlier every other day or so. So I'd be like, I used to get up at 7, and then I was like, oh, okay, well, let's get up at 6:50, and then I have this little bit more free time in the morning. Maybe I'll do 20 push-ups really quick, or whatever I was doing. And then I just slowly pushed it back to the point now where I'm fairly well trained. Like come 5, my body's kind of naturally starting to wake up, and then by 5:30, I'm I'm ready to get up, and if I'm not out of the bed by 6:30 at the latest would be really pushing it for me. But occasionally, if I have a hard, like Thursday, Fridays for me after training, pretty hard for a week. Fridays I'm kind of like, oh, I could sleep until 7, and then I just ramp up the training on the weekends to make up for it. But
right. Yeah, so we'll keep you guys updated with that, and I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
But Jonny, if you have some of those chocolate oranges, you can just eat them in front of me, and I know you have the wherewithal to be able to lose that weight.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So we need to make a counter bet to this, and I'll have to figure out what it is. But for some increment of weight gain or not achieving your goal, should be like a set amount of time next time I see you where you have to wrestle me.
Oh, it's gonna go horribly.
Yeah.
That's yeah. So you're telling me that all I have to do is at least lose 1 pound, and I don't have to wrestle you?
No, you said your goal's 20.
I know. Oh, so if I don't meet my goal, then I gotta wrestle you.
For every pound that you're short...
maybe I'm gonna Hulk out. Dude, alright? So I'm gonna drop weight, and then I'm just gonna start packing it on.
You're gonna come back looking like Larry and be like, I'm ready.
Dude, if I ever look like Larry, that's such, like... That would be like something that I would get to it, and then I'd be like, alright, well, I'm done. I think I've reached the pinnacle. Yeah, so I'm gonna slim down again, because I don't think that's something like Larry's. He's trained himself. He's good at it. He enjoys lifting and crafting himself and forming himself into a more perfect version of himself.
Yeah, man.
But for me, dude, all I want, honestly, something I've never had: 6-pack. That's all I want.
You can get there, bud.
I know it can.
You can't do that just with running, though.
Oh, I know. They got Ab Ripper. You ever done the Ab Ripper X?
I've done everything. I did P90, and then I did Insanity, and then I got to.
I've never done the Insanity stuff.
I liked Insanity better than P90. For a while, Wally and I were doing Insanity as our warm up before we would go to the gym.
Okay.
So I love Insanity, honestly, for like be at home and just use your body. And at the time I thought it was kind of silly because I was really into like bodybuilding and powerlifting, and I was, big as fuck. And then I was like, oh, look at this Insanity thing. I was like, oh, fuck, this is tiring. And now I think about it, how applicable it is to my current goals for my body and how it applies to fighting. I love it. And I implement parts of it into my morning workouts. So yeah.
To be continued on that one, I guess.
Yeah, we should talk to Larry about what he thinks about P90 and Insanity and other, I don't want to say fad diets or workouts, because I actually think there's a lot of validity to P90 and Insanity, but there are definitely some other workouts that are like just garbage. But I'd be interested in hearing his take on it.
Yeah, and I think he covered it a little bit on his first time around, but we could definitely go more in depth.
Yeah, for sure.
Stuff. All right, guys, we'll be on the lookout for that next week. Like I said, still not 100% in stone yet, but I'm fairly certain we'll be able to make that work. But that's all for this week. If you guys want to check us out on social media, Jumbled Podcast, just search for that and you'll find us. Emails, send them on over to jumbledpodcast@gmail.com or johnny.jumbled@gmail.com.
Woo!
Johnny's messing with his cauliflower ear.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry about it. And
you like that beautiful thing?
It's actually not looking too bad. It's red as shit.
Yeah, it's bleeding in the back. At least you can
fold it. At least you can fold it a little bit,
So what I'm happy about is that it's filling in nicely throughout the whole arch of the ear. Some people just get like it just here and then it looks weird. So at least it's kind of still looks like an ear. It just looks like an ear that, God didn't chisel out.
God didn't favor that here.
He got lazy. He didn't put detail work on that.
He's like, fuck it. This one's good enough.
Yeah. Just slap that bitch on. He doesn't need fancy curves in it.
Exactly. Want to give a shout out to our sponsor Audible. Head over to audibletrial.com/jumbled and get that 30-day free trial and a free audiobook. Hell, gift it to somebody. Just because it's past Christmas doesn't mean that you can't give a great gift.
Gifts are good all year round.
It's true. And when they're unexpected as well.
Do what I do. Send unexpected gifts and say happy birthday. And people will say, my birthday was 3 months ago. Like, yeah, you don't like belated birthday gifts or what?
Not a fan?
Yeah.
Whatever. And if you guys want to get us an address, we've been telling you guys, you haven't done it yet, head over to patreon.com/jumbled and gift what you can there as well.
Well, now I suspect people are going to be waiting until you're in your final form before they get you an address, because then your dress is going to be real skimpy.
Everybody's going to want to see me in a dress.
Ooh,
that's all I'm saying.
Baby.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not ripping any seams. The only ripping that's going to be happening is because I'm going to flex.
Oh, I like it.
Bust out of it.
I like it.
Mostly just around the cock. Anyway, that's it, guys. If you guys would please join us next week for another episode of Jumbled. But for now, that's going to do it. We'll see you guys next week. Again, for another episode of Jumbled, your favorite podcast.
About being beautiful.
Being beautiful. Aw, Johnny, you think so?
Oh, yeah, of course.
We'll see you guys next week.
Night.